It's an incredible movie. Where'd you watch it?
Sure. I downloaded it.
Okay, I watched it on YouTube. They had it on YouTube for free.
Dubbed or
I
not
was
dubbed?
shocked. No, it was just subtitled.
Yeah. What do you like about it?
It's amazing. It's fun.
Expand on that, please.
You know, it just feels like the pool vinyl kind of knocked us into like retrograde. It's
I know.
It's so
It's a
weird.
bad sign.
it's not a bad sign.
I feel like it is. Like this week has been weird for me, not just because of the Oscars, but it's been a very weird feeling week.
like, dude, like I don't know, like the energy was a little thrown off. Like,
Yeah, the energy.
It just got a little thrown off.
Definitely.
We can rebound. Okay, it is what it is.
I feel like the pool is like the cabin in the woods, not like the movie, but like an Evil Dead. Like you just feel it's evil.
I think it's kind of like in your mind.
I know it's grown.
No, it has. It's turned into like an ordeal, which has happened to me in many situations.
Yeah.
Where it was just this small thing and it just turned into this big thing. And
Yeah. I don't know. Anyway. John Woo.
bummer. Okay, let's go back to the Hard Boiled, because I think Hard Boiled is like so fun to watch and exciting, and it's beautifully lit. And yeah, I mean the acting sometimes comes off a little cheesy, but this is a '90s action movie, and like back half of the '80s into the '90s, we had some really great like action movies. You know, granted, they did revolve around gun violence and a lot of just violence in general, but like those movies were like fun to watch, you know?
Yes, they were. At least when I was growing up, yeah, I agree with you. I was surprised. I've been trying to watch. I watched that Bob Odenkirk movie, Nobody,
I haven't seen that.
and I'm just surprised how much violence is just sort of boring to me now. I'm indifferent to it. And for some reason, it's only violence that it's not like a singular act of violence in the movie. It's just the movies where it's like violence from beginning to end.
What
It's
kind of
just
violence was in there?
Sort of like like traditional action movie. It was sort of like a throwback, sort of like a parody, homage to 90s action movies. Which just say like a lot of shooting, a lot of stabbing, a lot of breaking of bones, and
A lot of hand-to-hand combat?
some of that, yeah. But
Okay.
yeah, most of it's, a lot of gun violence, a lot of shooting, dodging knives, explosions, stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure.
And I used to love those kinds of movies, but for some reason, I don't know why, I'm just sort of indifferent to them now.
No, like once you start getting past, I think the things changed for movies with like the Bourne Identity series. Like
Okay.
everything started going more toward like this fast-paced, like hand-to-hand combat. You know, they were trying to go for like a realistic feel,
Mm-hmm.
I think, and that knocked us into what we kind of have now, where it's just like nonstop, like action, almost like gun violence. I feel like gun violence is non-existent in movies now. You know,
Watch Nobody.
is there a lot in that?
Yes.
Okay, man, it's just I don't know. I haven't seen that many movies with a lot of.
Also,
gun
it's
violence.
like I've tried watching John Wick, and that also makes me feel
Oh man, I love John Wick.
it makes me feel empty because all the violence
Really? You know, I
Yeah.
saw John Wick.
numbs me.
I saw 1 and 2, and then I saw the third one in the movies.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, I know what you're saying. You're kind of a little numb to it, but I mean, like, those movies are like fun too, man. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I love those movies. They're so like, I don't know, like the way they're filmed is awesome. And yeah, sometimes the action, like hand-to-hand combat, gets a little away from them. But I mean, it's still a great audience experience. Like, I remember watching it in the third one, and like people were like, "Oh, like you know, like really into it." You
Yeah,
know?
they're cheering.
Yeah, like it's fun. It was a fun movie. I love that series.
Yeah, I wish I still like those movies. They do seem fun, but
Yeah.
I don't have it. in
Or
me
like Clive
emotionally.
Owen and Monica Bellucci in the Shoot 'Em Up from '07. That was another one I really enjoyed. How would you describe this movie to somebody?
Just an
like the
action,
plot.
like a cop action movie, but like better than any cop action movie you've seen, probably.
I like Chow Yun-Fat's character Tequila.
Yeah,
I mean, like he's just so
he's a cool guy.
he is a cool guy. He reminds me of someone I know, like physically
Oh, yeah?
too. And like I was like, man, like this guy's character, like I don't know, like John Woo's movies, like even Face Off.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that was his American debut, but like
I think he made that movie with Christian Slater before. John Travolta on the train.
Broken Arrow. Okay. Yeah, Face Off was awesome. I remember that was like a big deal.
Me too.
Like that was like huge.
Watch it over and over again on VHS.
I was like, just the idea of somebody swapping faces, like you know what I mean? Like it was mind blowing.
And you had those like two great performances.
Yeah, I know.
But anyway, I can't believe my parents would like let me watch that movie 800 times and wouldn't
Face
see
Off?
me. Yeah, like I couldn't see one ass, I couldn't see one nipple, or they would freak out.
Yeah.
Boris, ¿qué estás viendo? And then they would see all that violence in Face Off or whatever, and they'd be like, "Oh, you just watched
No,
that
yeah.
movie."
See what I mean? Our understanding of gun violence was so different
Yeah,
back then.
it's a style thing.
I mean,
cultural
this
thing.
movie's so different from the one we did last week, Sicario.
In
The
a
much
way, yeah.
controversial to Boris, Sicario.
Yeah, of course. No one else. Anyway, just to get back to my point, John Woo adds a lot of little comedic touches.
He does. Beautiful.
And sort of reminds you of a silent film. Buster Keaton, Harry Lloyd, Charlie
Yeah.
Chaplin. Never heard of him. But yeah, it's funny. Oh, you're such a come on, bitch.
Take it easy.
You're still a little bitch.
I think. Okay, what else is bothering you? What else is bothering
Nothing
you?
else is bothering me. For example, near the ending, there's a scene where
Just
Chow
for the
Yun Fat's
listener out
pants
there,
are-
just for the listener, Boris is
Chow-
he's like ready to like explode. This pull vinyl is like, yeah, this is this, yeah.
Chow Yun Fat is his pants are on fire and he's carrying a baby. He's trying to jump out a window and the baby pees on him.
That was awesome to put out the fire.
Yeah. Also, the little touch where they go into like the little nursery and
Doesn't
they
they
put
call him like my little piss pot or something?
yeah, that's what it was translated as in the subtitles. But also they go into the little nursery and they put little cotton whatchamacallits in the baby's ears. They're very considerate about all the guns that are going off.
Yeah.
I don't want any hearing damage. Just thought it was a nice touch.
That was
You
a
wouldn't
nice
see
touch.
that in any American production. I don't give a fuck about
No,
babies'
I mean,
ears.
you know that
or their
hospital
hearing.
scene. It changes the whole dynamic of the movie, the whole last half of the movie. Because up until then, the movie feels like a pretty straightforward, like cop movie, right? But then that last half, like it turns into like Die Hard with babies
Yeah,
in some way.
it's just sort of like a cartoon. The whole movie is.
It is a cartoon.
So yeah, when you see people, all these innocent people dying, you don't mind it as much, I guess.
a lot of innocent people die in this movie.
Yeah.
It's like a Power Ranger
Like,
episode.
Both Tony Leung and Chow Yun Fat kill like a couple of cops or something, and just like,
They
they're
do
just, like,
mistakenly, like friendly fire.
Yeah, and they're
Especially
like,
when Tony
"Oh."
Lung does it in the hospital. He like
Yeah.
literally has a breakdown, and Chow Yun Fat's like, "You saw nothing. You did the right thing. He wasn't a cop." He's like, act like a man, pretty much.
shooting. Yeah, then like 5 seconds later, he admits that he was a cop, man. I
was
don't
a
know.
cop, yeah.
I'm sorry. But yeah, a lot of slow motion, classic John Woo, and just like a lot of really good editing. It's just not common to see action scenes cut together in a way that geographically it makes sense. I feel like a lot of action scenes now are just spliced together and like you're just getting a mishmash of images. And with a John Woo movie, you always know where everyone is standing. You know where they're going. You know what their objective is. It helps it keep it very, very clear in the
Yeah.
mind of the audience
I
what's
agree with
going
you.
on. And I feel like a lot of action movies now, it's just sort of confusing what's going on. You're just sort of watching people punch each other, but you don't know where they are or why they're doing it or why they're so, why are they so angry?
Geographically,
Yeah, geographically mostly.
yeah, it doesn't. Sometimes
keeping-
it doesn't add up.
And just keeping track of, sometimes, just keeping track of where everything is going on and what's happening and why it's happening. It's not any slower than it is in action movies now. It's just a lot more clearer.
Yeah,
And it takes a lot of vision and
Yeah.
and knowledge of what shots you have to get to pull that off.
you're making me think of the tea house scene,
Yeah,
that opening sequence with the birds.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
and he knows the right moment to flip the switch from suspense into full on action.
Yeah, I mean, like they're under Chow Yun Fat and his partner are in a tea house, and they're
Mhm.
carrying like parakeets and
Yeah.
bird cages,
Sure.
and they're just talking about like daily life,
Mm.
and then all of a sudden, boom, we erupt into like violence. People are getting wasted and shot, and like all in the name for justice.
this is a movie where, like, a lot of people, I always see people complaining, oh, how he shot 15 times with a gun that only carries 12 bullets.
You know what? Yeah,
This
you know
movie
what?
does not care about how many bullets a gun has. He's gonna shoot them all.
You know, it's crazy. Like whenever I watch gun violence, like, or like something in Hard Boiled, like the amount of times they shoot, the amount of times they're dodging.
Mm-hmm.
Like realistically, you're like, this is impossible. But I don't know. You just somehow let it go with this movie.
Yeah, except for it's a cartoon. You're not.
It is a cartoon.
It's about fun.
It's so fun. This movie. I love the introduction of Tony Lung too.
Yeah,
His red sports car going through the Fallen Angels tunnel. Like,
he wants you to. Yeah, John Woo wants you to think this guy is cool. He walks into the
He is
library
cool.
and he's like bathed in golden light.
yeah,
He's wearing
and his
sunglasses.
suit is like huge.
Yeah, it's like a perfect. It's a white suit or something.
Yeah.
And I love the whole thing where he finds the gun in the Shakespeare tome, and then he just kills
Kills that dude. Yeah, no, this movie's like aesthetically, I could see it appealing on like social media, or like it should be in now. This movie's aesthetics, it feels like everything like our pop culture is so anime manga heavy right now.
Yeah,
You know, like
you
that's
think that
what's
would
in.
extend to action movies, but it doesn't really go.
It doesn't really. No, I mean, because I think this movie could easily become like some sort of meme fodder. And it could be some sort of like, you know what I mean? Like because it's kind of cheesy at times. But I mean, if you watch movies from back then, you let it go.
Yeah, but I'd rather have the cheesiness than, like you mentioned, Sicario, like
Sicario.
the art house pretension of an action movie. I just rather have the cheesiness.
Yeah,
I'd
it's
just rather
fun.
have it be fun.
Made me want to live in Hong Kong for some reason and experience Hong
Seems
Kong
cool.
at the time.
It's a cool place. Do you have any other thoughts?
I think John Woo's like directing style is like, it's so fast, it's so quick.
Yeah.
It makes you think about the possibilities of like how to film an action movie. And like we mentioned John Wick earlier, and like John Wick, the trilogy is like pretty close to a modern John Woo movie. Like it just feels so fun and like a great theater experience.
That's cool.
Yeah.
This came out the same year as Terminator 2, and right or near
92,
that.
yeah.
And I think they have both. They both have
The
the
flower
same.
scene, yeah.
Yeah, you know, in the box, the gun in the box.
Yeah, I
it's
love
really
that.
Flowers.
Yeah.
What yeah, I mean, like they say, geniuses. Is that what they say? Geniuses think alike, or
Yeah.
is that the expression?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was pretty
Someone help me.
like awesome to see both like with those
You can
scenes.
fit a gun into a flower box.
Yeah.
What if the guy walks in slow motion and then he pulls out the gun?
Like T2, like it made me think of T2 and like how awesome that movie is, like how like
It's a cool movie.
how fun it was, and like
Yeah, wish you had more like those.
yeah, I know they did Terminator Lynxis a couple years ago. I didn't watch that.
I saw the last one. What's it called? Genesis or something?
Oh, I thought it was Lynxis, or is it Genesis?
I don't think
Oh,
it's
Lynxis is a
Lynxis.
Wi-Fi.
They would call a movie that.
Yeah. No, Genesis. Yeah, well, John Clark was in it, I think.
John Clark?
Yeah, isn't he an actor from Planet of the Apes?
I'm not sure.
Another one, not The Wettest County.
John Clark?
It used to be called The Wettest County. The one with Shia LaBeouf and Jessica Chastain and Tom Hardy.
Lawless, yeah.
Lawless, yeah. That used to be called, I think the other title for the movie was The Wettest County.
Yeah, I think that was the book they adapted.
Yeah.
from. I like that movie. You know who's good in that movie?
Which one?
Guy Pearce.
Oh, he's vicious in that movie.
Yeah.
Something a little off about him.
I know, but he can like
weird.
I like that. I think he was a pretty good villain for.
He could be a good villain.
Yeah, I don't see villains that good anymore. Like you're honestly scared of him.
That's a pretty low-key movie, too.
Sort of, yeah. Anyway,
John Hillcoat. That's
John Elko. That's
Right?
right. Yeah.
John Woo. Let's go back to him.
Yeah. What about him?
Man, this movie was so fun to watch, and I'm glad it's on YouTube. Like,
Yeah, I'm glad the kids can watch this and get some good action.
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just think of those 90s action movies like Steven Seagal's Under Siege, you know, and like how fun they were. And, you know, it kind of dwindled in the early 2000s. That's when they kind of fell off.
Well, like you
know?
said, the Bourne Identity movies took over and sort of that.
Yeah.
And also at the same time, the Batman Begins, Dark Knight,
Yeah.
it was going to be all these
Yeah.
sort of adult, dark takes on
Yeah.
what used to be cheesy fun.
Adult. Yeah, it kind of turned into that. And then we kind of went back to like, you know, like we got into the Marvel cycle, which we're now, and
Yeah, how would you
Yeah.
describe that? It's not cheesy fun anymore. It's just sort of
It's very strange. I was talking about it with a friend of mine, and he was like explaining it to me. He pretty much like broke down how Marvel movies are written, and like
how are
they're
they
almost
written?
like jokes or something, like a comedy skit, almost like action, comedy, action.
Yeah, there's like a formula to it.
There's a
Sure.
formula to it, and I was like, yeah, that's true, there is. And I was like, okay,
Yeah, I mean it's a product now.
it is. Someone said something interesting about like Godzilla versus King Kong on
Yeah.
another podcast I was listening to, and they were saying that like pretty much the reason why, because one of the hosts was saying like you just don't get these like artistically done movies that take risks. You don't get a Predator, you don't get a Terminator anymore. The other podcast host said, yeah, that's true. The other guy was just saying that like the reason why we don't get those is because everything's so formulaic and studios can't take risks. And the reason being is, and the other podcast host chimed in and he said the reason being is because studios are kind of like owned by China. Like our mainstream movies have to perform well in China in order for them to make money back,
Sure.
which is something I never thought about, but I guess it is kind of true.
Sure. Yeah. It's
When I looked at something like John Wick, like the direction of that is so fun and so like you can get lost in it and actually get like involved with the characters.
Yeah, and that's part of what I was getting to. Just that Terminator was made for like $7 million, right? Back in 87, 85 when it came
Oh,
out.
the original? Yeah.
Yeah, so it was made for a fairly low budget. James Cameron had a hard time getting in the first place. But the thing is that James Cameron knew what kind of movie he was making. He was making a movie about a robot that goes back in time to kill somebody.
Just the idea of that is
And-
so like
yeah.
bizarre.
It's a great idea, right? It's, a great
It's like a
sci-fi
very-
idea.
That's not a stoner idea. That's like something you get from like just.
It's like a clever.
It's a clever like pulp science fiction-y thought,
And the thing is that filmmakers now either seem to want to be like in one category or the other. Like they want to have both crowds, like the arty crowd and
I
the
guess you're
mainstream
making me
crowd
think of
praising
like
them.
District 9, like Neil Blomkamp,
Sure.
where it's a little bit of both.
Yeah,
Like, it has this artistic flavor, but then it could also run into this like action sequences, like.
right. But I guess what I'm trying to get to is that there's not any more filmmakers that are willing to embrace what makes genre great. They want to get the awards and they want to get the money and they want to get the girls.
I don't know. I think some are like, I disagree with that. I think there's
So
some loyal to the soil of filmmaking, but
Loyal to the soil?
Yep.
What's that mean?
like loyal, they're just
Oh,
loyal.
loyal
they're
to the
loyal to the
soil.
game, man.
I don't think no, I don't know. I'm not explaining myself well either, but I think there's something missing from the approach of what filmmakers are trying to do with action movies or horror movies or comic book movies now that people before filmmakers, Sam Raimi, James Cameron understood about these genres that somehow is getting lost in translation.
Yeah, just also the sign of the times too. I felt like that was in those type of action movies back then.
Yeah.
I mean, James Cameron after Terminator, what did he do? Like Aliens, right?
Yeah, Aliens.
I
The
mean,
Abyss.
Aliens. That's like that's such a like great take on taking like a horror story, which is the original Alien, and building it into like a shoot 'em up action movie. Like that movie is so hardcore, like violent and over the top that you can't ignore. Like it kind of like set the tone for like violence going forward for the next decade.
Maybe. Yeah. I don't know. Did it?
Yeah.
I mean, how much of this is Reagan? That old fucker.
Reagan?
Conservatism taking over.
Talking about Ronald Reagan, the president?
All of a sudden, people get trigger happy. Oh, we can invade anywhere. We can do anything. I don't know what I'm saying. Anyway. It seems like you can link this sudden uptick in violent movies in the 80s to Reaganism. Maybe. Right? The sort of Republican mentality that you can get whatever you want as long as you're violent enough to do it.
I guess you could say that.
There was something about 70 stories being personal
Yeah.
and then moving into the 80s where
The boomers kind of like grew up. They grew up and they
Yeah.
became entrepreneurs.
Yeah, the
in some
hippies
way.
became yuppies. That was
Yeah,
the cliche
business
goes.
and all this weird
So
thing. And
they,
I mean, Tarantino came out with Reservoir Dogs same year, and
yeah,
kind of like upended things and that kind of like shifted things going into like probably the best independent movie period of all time, the 90s. Like,
Sure.
just getting all these like smaller movies made. So
There was a shift from the 70s into the 80s where you went from personal stories making money, they stopped making money, or maybe it was Heaven's Gate or something, or well, they stopped making money. Then you went to the 80s, and studios are starting to think, how can we make money?
Blockbuster,
Right.
Jaws
So, yeah,
4,
Jaws,
you know,
Star
Star
Wars.
Wars. And
That's the ticket.
Have you seen
That's
Jaws
what we gotta
3D?
do. Sorry?
have you seen Jaws 3D?
I haven't.
That movie's awesome. That's a fun movie.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was in the pool. That was all you.
All right. So, what do you think of John Woo's Hard Boiled?
Like I said, I liked a lot of the comical and the idiosyncratic little details.
How about when Tequila's girlfriend shoots the guy? Remember that?
It's a great moment for women everywhere.
I like that scene.
Yep.
It was fun. And the babies and everything. It's
about-
so interesting how, like, okay, so you get something like Alien versus Predator Requiem. Okay? Hear me out. That movie uses a hospital scene, and the way they utilize babies, like Hard Boiled actually does a Hitchcock thing where they use babies to their advantage, and they're like, we're gonna raise the stakes by including babies in the story, right? Whereas in Alien versus Predator Requiem, they actually just kill the babies and they turn into evil little aliens
That's cool.
in some horrific way. And I'm just like, you could have used the babies. It's just amazing at like directing and story, like how you can actually utilize something so small and play to your advantage and make it successful. Whereas in Requiem, they didn't do anything and it squandered away a great opportunity.
I haven't seen that movie, but I'll take your word for it.
Okay.
Well, I mean, just babies are just biologically, we just want to protect them because they're the future of the human race. And we don't care, really. I mean, we know they're not going to die in Hard Boiled. We know they're not going to.
Yeah.
He's not going to, like, slip and be like, oh, a baby. And the baby flies
Yeah.
out the window.
It's like, it's just, you know, how people react to babies or like dogs. As soon as a
Right.
dog is in a scene, it's like, you know, like that's it. That's where the focal goes. Tell me, it's like at the end of the scene, you're like, is the dog still alive? Is it alive? Like, that's what I want to know.
Yeah. I mean, that's just good storytelling to just take these basic
Yeah.
symbols and this sort of basic psychology around them and turn them into suspense.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's cute. Look at him. Got a nice dog over here. Anyway. Yeah, as you were asking me what I liked about this movie, I liked the little touches, but at the same time, as much as I can appreciate the editing, the choreography and the fight scenes and the shootouts, the directing, I like the lighting a lot as well.
The music.
Yeah, the music. I wish we had more scenes where he played the clarinet. There wasn't enough clarinet playing, in my opinion.
Yeah. John Woo's opening scene of this movie is like, it almost feels like a romantic Woody Allen. Like, you know, it's amazing.
Uh-huh. Go ahead. That's all you had to say.
What else do you like about this one?
What else do I like? Yeah, as you said, I don't mind the cheesy performances. I know what kind of movie it is. It's a cartoon, essentially. So if someone is going to say a line in a weird way, or in a way that seems completely inappropriate for the scene, I'm not going to mind. I appreciate that more.
What do you think of the lieutenant captain?
The superintendent?
Superintendent.
It's a funny guy.
He was a funny guy. He looked all like stressed out and just
Yeah, it's a
Poor guy.
classic guy. Like a classic captain, right? He
classic
brings the guy
captain.
in.
Yeah.
You're fucking up my case,
You're
man.
gonna be
Don't ever
unemployed
fucking do it
soon.
again. Now
Yeah.
you're gonna be on the unemployment line if you mess up one more time.
Yeah.
And yeah, this movie is obviously like a forebearer of all the cop cliches that we get in movies still.
That's true.
Up to like True Detective or something. I don't know. Did you notice that John Woo is also in the movie?
At what point?
He's the mentor. He's the guy in the bar that Chow Yun-fat.
Oh, that's right. They name him by name, actually.
He's called
Mr.
John.
Woo.
Oh,
They
yeah,
call
that's
him
right.
Mr. Woo.
Yeah, I mean, I like the performance. I like Tony Leung a lot, but he's just a great actor. He's just a dude who knows how to rock it, in my opinion. I've never seen him
He's
do
good.
anything bad,
No,
right?
no.
If anything, he's underappreciated.
I know he's gonna be in a Marvel movie soon. I've heard
Oh yeah, it's gonna be in that.
something. I don't know what.
That's something. Yeah,
I forgot what it's called.
I don't keep up with the Marvels anymore,
My friend told me. I just don't remember.
except for that Black Widow movie though.
Black Widow.
Yeah.
Is that out yet?
No, it's
Okay.
got David Harbour,
Harbor.
Florence. How do you say her last name?
Pew pew.
Yep.
Pew pew. Like
Pew.
a gun.
Like a gun. Should be in one of these movies. Scarlett Joe, back from the dead. Russian accents. Spy movie intrigue.
Has John Woo done a Marvel movie?
No, he
Because that'd be
hasn't.
awesome
I
if he
think I would-
did.
Well, I think they wouldn't let him do his thing, right? Like even like when he was working and making Face Off, Broken Arrow. Is that what the movie's called? He didn't have full control. He had to fight them a lot to just get what he wanted. It's unfortunate, right?
That is.
Director's not having
I always
control.
hate that.
Yeah, I mean,
It's fucking stories. That sucks.
this movie shot for 120 days. That's crazy for now. Like,
It filmed for 128 days.
120, yes.
120?
Yeah,
That's like almost half a year.
exactly. This is what you could do back in the 90s when you had the money for it and the time and the willingness to trust somebody to execute their vision. And now you have people shooting action movies in like what, 40 days, if
That's
that.
crazy. Shooting
know.
an action movie in 40 days is insane.
I know. So it's you can see the vast difference between when you give the right amount of money and time to make an action movie, and you see you also like Terminator 2, right? It also took like 6 months to shoot or something. You gotta invest time and money if you want to make these movies good. If you want to like rush them off for a direct video audience or just try to like fit into like a January, February release schedule, you get what you pay for essentially.
This movie, I mean, so fun.
It is fun. It's a fun movie. Something bothering you, Nicholas?
It's
I
nothing.
feel like you're distracted somehow. I feel like I'm not getting the same energy I usually get from you.
Yeah, I wonder why.
It's not your problem, though. Why are you engage with me?
I don't know. It's just
Respond to what I'm
we're
saying.
going back to the pool
Except
vinyl
going
situation.
Requiem.
Well, yeah. Well, I just wanted to point out. Okay, the reason why I brought Alien vs Predator Requiem is because they
Halloween
use
6.
they use a hospital. You know, when you use a hospital, I just found it's just interesting.
Yes.
You know,
Yes. Steven Soderbergh made an action movie once.
Haywire.
called Haywire.
yeah, we beg to differ on this.
I like
On that
Haywire.
movie. Oh, did you? I thought you said
Yeah.
you didn't like it.
I liked it.
I enjoyed Haywire when it came out.
Yeah, I like the way it's shot. It's just a bunch of you just capture all of the action in one shot, and you just cut maybe 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
That's the way you gotta do it. You gotta cut it to pieces. You're not taking 6 or whatever.
Okay. Yeah, I mean Soderbergh though. Soderbergh's just all over the place.
Is
You
he?
know? He is, yeah. He's like, I'm gonna make a melodrama, and it actually looks like it feels like a melodrama, like The Good German.
Sure. I think people have this. I don't know where they get it, honestly, because they just think black and white equals boring, and maybe they grow up seeing color all their whole lives. But I don't get why black and white has to equal boring for anybody.
Yeah.
That's not like a learned cultural sort of idea. Like it's implanted in people's heads.
Another movie I keep thinking about is Anton Corbin's The American,
Yeah.
right?
Place of Control.
Control?
Yeah, you haven't seen it?
Oh, the Joy Division movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's also in black and white. I like that movie.
That's well done. That's a well done black and white movie.
Yeah,
It's a beautiful movie, man.
I like it.
It's for a rock story. It's like a pretty awesome
Yeah, it's
take on it.
It's not the traditional biopic.
No, it's like this
sort
weird
of,
just time period. I don't
Bohemian
know.
Rhapsody sort of thing.
Bohemian Rhapsody.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah. Which one?
Bohemian Rhapsody.
It's okay. I'm not too into that movie, but I can see why
Rocket
people like it.
Man.
I liked Rocket Man.
I haven't seen it.
That was fun. I thought that was better than Bohemian Rhapsody.
Probably.
But
I believe it. What are we talking about? The Oscars. I'm kidding.
I'd say, yeah, I mean, something like The American by Anton Corbin, that's like so different from a movie like Hard Boiled, like cop stories, or like Memories of Murder. Bong Joon-ho's Memories of Murder.
Yeah.
How different that feels as a cop movie.
Well, it's different take on cop story, I guess. Different genres, essentially. One's a
It
murder
is completely
mystery,
different.
and one's an action movie.
It's just weird how like you can take stories and like go with them and be like, this is gonna be fast paced, this is gonna be slow, this is gonna be a slow burner. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's the variety that makes movies exciting.
Yeah, it is the variety.
You can watch a comedy. You can watch a musical. Watch a
Yeah.
horror movie.
Did you like the cranes that Tony Lund built?
Oh, yeah.
That was like from Blade Runner.
So he didn't like them, but he was pretty good at making them.
Yeah, that was like taken from Blade Runner. So cool.
Is it?
Yeah, Edward James Olmos's character does that. He builds little cranes,
Oh, yeah. That's right.
origami. He leaves them around.
That's correct.
It's so
I haven't seen
awesome.
Blade Runner in a long time.
Which cut?
Final Cut.
Oh, that one's yeah.
What's
That
your
one's
preferred
awesome.
cut?
That one's awesome. I love the final cut. The final cut's great. Theatrical cut is it's okay. Voiceover just kills that movie. I'm just like, this is
See, studio interference always fucks things up.
yeah.
Um,
Those are the only cuts I've seen of that movie. So
yeah, and there's like 5 of them.
the working man. It's like the working cut.
Yeah.
You
It's like
know.
the whole thing about them. But
Yeah,
I've only seen the final
backstories.
cut.
The Comic Con cut. There's like just like so
Yeah.
many.
The first director's cut, and like the second director's cut, and like the studio cut.
Studio cut. Yeah. Actually, I like the scene when they shoot Tony Lund in the back with a shotgun, and he's still able to
He
like.
just, like gets up, starts
get
limping
up.
around.
Wouldn't the shock of that like wound in real life? Of course, you would just
Yeah.
be dead. But
Definitely dead. He's
like
like right
it's
above him. It's, like,
yeah,
2 feet
they just
away.
shoot him in the back, and it's just like. I also like the relationship between Chow Yun-fat and Tony Leung, how it goes from like we hate each other to we love each other.
Yeah, I like how that scene where Tony Long shoots that informant right in the lighter. He like
Oh
slips the lighter
yeah,
in, and then he like
yeah.
shoots him exactly.
It's all
where
like
the lighter is.
he puts it in, and then he like falls over the railing, and then
Falls
the
to the
guy
water.
swims, and then
Uh-huh.
somehow he ends up at the bar, and then
Take it to the hospital.
and then he dies at the bar.
Does he?
Doesn't he die at the bar? Oh no, he doesn't die at the
goes to
bar.
the
He
hospital,
goes to the
right?
hospital and then he dies. He gets his throat slit. Poor guy.
And the thing is that for some reason he leaves the room though. He like leaves his hospital room.
Yeah, because he hears the doorknob go in and like that bad guy with the
Yeah,
scar on his
yeah.
face and
I didn't believe that choice, but it's fine.
yeah, it was I would question that choice, but I mean like if it moves the story because he
That's exactly,
you
gotta keep
know
it moving.
like yeah he keeps it moving and like the little tricks of this movie are amazing. Like when Tony Leung dresses up as a cop and he has like Chow Yun-fat in front of him with a shotgun and he's like in front of the hospital people and
I like John Woo reminds you of that one perfect shot Chow Yun-fat did underground in the last scene where he's gonna shoot the boss.
oh yeah
And he like flashes back to like that one time, maybe like an hour ago, where he made that perfect dead eye shot.
yeah remember that
He's like, gotta pull it together again.
he does like that.
Yeah.
Or like I like when Tony Leung electrocutes he electrocutes himself to open the door
yeah.
and it flashes back to his partner in the beginning just getting
Right.
shot.
Like he sees, he's like Tony Long dying or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, oh no,
I think that's when he begins to sympathize with Tony Leung. It's like, you
Yeah.
know what, this guy's the real deal.
he's my friend.
This is my friend. Those little like cutbacks and like those little like flashbacks are just like they're cheesy, but like it's so it works. I don't know. Like there's a lot of
I
moments. in
liked
this
it a
movie.
lot. It's just, I don't know, man. It's just fun. Like you said, it's a fun movie.
If you can let go of like the cheesiness and just be like, hey, this is a good fun movie.
Yeah, I feel like people shouldn't have like an allergy to cheesiness or corniness. It's fine.
Yeah, it's true. That's why I said it can become meme fodder and like this
It's like
and
that
that gif.
obsession about always being cool and dark. And just like
Maybe at the time this
cynical.
was cool and dark, right?
Definitely, it was like all
Right?
people that are dying. I mean, it can't not be dark.
Yeah, this movie, I would imagine when it came out, it was super like people were like, "This is the future of movies," and in a way, it was. You know, this movie was like 14 years ahead of the Bourne Identity series, or 12 years ahead. You know,
it's obviously
so-
very influential. It's obviously this movie is a big reason why John Woo got the opportunity to come and direct movies here. What other moments do I like about this? Guy on the motorcycle who just like I don't know if you remember, he like
In the
follows
warehouse?
the guy into a box truck, and he just digs his motorcycle into him.
Yeah, he goes straight into a guy,
Yeah, he just
and
like,
the guy gets back up, doesn't he?
Yeah, the guy's like keeps
He's
running.
like, ah,
and he shoots him like 5 times.
Yeah, this movie's insane.
Yeah, I mean, I wish we had more of that. Just like
It was just like absurd.
it's like this movie and like Evil Dead 2. I like those kinds of movies who are just like unleashed. They're just
They
not
do
holding
unleash.
back.
Yeah, it's like weird. It's like a dark, hilarious movie to watch.
Yeah, it's like a comedy, sort of. Yeah.
Yeah,
And I like that approach.
me too. It's fun.
I don't like the dark, ominous, sort of like I don't know what to compare it to. I don't want to say John Wick. I didn't finish watching it, but sort of had
Really?
that feeling where it's like sort of really dark and
It is dark, but I mean, like with John Wick, it's just like maybe because of that action, action genre, in my opinion, had such a lull, and it was so franchise oriented. Before the first John Wick came out, when like John Wick came out, it was just like finally, you know what I mean? Like something that's just like fun you could get into, and just like, and it's also Keanu Reeves, like it's Keanu. Come on.
Yeah, we're obviously not mentioning the Matrix movies that had a huge John Woo influence.
I mean, yeah, the
Probably the biggest
Wachowskis.
one.
The Wachowskis. I mean, yeah, I mean, The Matrix, the first one, like that's pretty much a John Woo movie
Definitely,
to
yeah.
a certain degree. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
it's just
sort
like,
of like a sci-fi, dystopian.
yeah,
sort of
talk about
action.
being ahead of its time. That movie.
Yeah, I don't come along
Jeez.
that often. Movies like that.
That movie was like so, like when it came out, like I still have memories when it came out, like how like I don't know, like influential it was and like pop culture
Yeah, it's huge.
oriented.
What else is going on with you, Nick?
Nothing much. Is this it? Are we
No.
done with John Woo's
No,
Hard
we're not
Boiled?
done. No, I'm trying to get to the bottom
What?
of your energy.
I think we all know what's bothering
I feel
me.
like I'm feeding you something and you're not giving anything back.
You know, I don't know. I definitely feel like okay, since we're like it just feels like the pool vinyl, like just really like it just like I know it's peeling off the pool and sinking, and it kind of just feels like when I stepped in here, like that was the mood, like peeling off and sinking, like
I
it
had
just.
no idea this was going on. You know, that's
Well,
the
like as
mood.
soon as it was sprouted upon me, like Haley was like, "Can I ask you a favor?" And I was like, "Okay, yeah." And then I was like, I don't know. It's just, it feels like, to be honest with you, you guys had let the pool vinyl like get to you guys, and it's become like this pool vinyl monster in the house. And I could feel the energy. Like it's so weird. It doesn't feel like a normal episode. I don't know. It just
Maybe
like I could feel it. There's so much tense and
it's
like
like a ghost in the house.
almost
Being
like
haunted.
my shoulders feel a little tense for some reason.
That's all
like-
you.
No, it's
I was
it's
like,
because the
since we
energy
started the podcast.
it's-
That was fine. I wanted to talk to you.
I don't
about
think so. You're
Hard-Boiled.
bitterly talking about the Oscars and you're going off in tangents about it. I'm like, what? Why? We're talking
Just
about the
delete it.
Oscars.
Just delete it. It's fun.
You know, and
People talk about the Oscars.
they do. Yeah, they can do it. Like it just felt like the energy was just like, I don't know. We might need to burn incense in here. It feels like we got to get something out. So that's just an idea.
I mean, it's a
What do I
pool.
know?
It's like no one has cancer. We're not dying or anything.
No,
a
it's
pool.
just.
It's-
But I mean, that's what I, like. It kind of just feels like.
like when that pipe burst in the backyard on Friday, I was losing my mind over here.
Yeah,
It
I
was like,
mean,
one more
I
thing,
forgot.
God.
Yeah,
One more fucking thing. Well, what else is next?
The
Am I gonna lose
pipe.
my foot next?
the pipe and the pool vinyl. I mean, but that's just. You know, it's just that's just how houses are. I mean, it's just one thing after another. You know, and
Yeah. I mean, it's not a big problem. There's people out there with real issues.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
Hard Boiled. If you guys haven't seen it, go check it out,
We've
dude.
already gone way too
I
long.
don't
I
know what-
can't. It's just gonna take me so long to edit. But anyway, thanks guys.
This is
for
gonna be a good
listening.
one. All right, then. man.
Yeah, I bet.
We'll save it for next week.
I bet it's gonna be great.
And we'll talk next week. Thanks for joining us.
I feel like we
guys.
kept talking just to avoid the pool. I feel like we went on for way too long just because we don't want to do that.
All right,
But I
guys.
didn't have that
Thank
much
you
to say
for
about Hard
listening.
Boiled.
Thank you for listening. We'll see you guys over here.
Bye.
Talk to you.